Alright guys, welcome to the video. Anthony here, Special Analysis. Going to do a quick review of what we identified live this morning. Going to start off with gold because that was the market that kind of triggered the first opportunity here. Right here, 8 o'clock as we got together, I said, hey, if we can hold this pivot, there's a good chance we could drive to respective levels overhead, and that's exactly what happened. From that pivot, our first target put us at roughly about 43 ticks. The second put us at about 182, and the third overhead put us at about 267. So just a really great run, respected our trade plan fairly well. Once we got off and running, we really held those fast moving averages, which for me is super important. So next up, we will look at the S&P 500. Okay, so shortly after we identified that gold opportunity, we came here into the S&P. We discussed breaking this pivot, being able to stay below it. You can see the next candle retested and held. We should cross this gap, presenting us here with an opportunity that ran roughly about 80 ticks or so. So you can see we took that nice, really just picture perfect push lower. Really happy about that. So that one worked out great. NASDAQ here. Now the NASDAQ took basically a similar push lower. However, the NASDAQ did not reach its pivot. And that is always why I look at both the NASDAQ and the S&P together when I'm considering a trade or considering an opportunity and presenting it to my clients, saying, hey, listen, if the S&P gets held up here, then we need to realize that the NASDAQ could as well. And that's really what happened. You can see we broke the pivot here as well on the NASDAQ, but we found a low right as the S&P found its pivot. So about 345 ticks on the push in the NASDAQ, about 80 ticks on the S&P. The S&P pivot did provide the support that did stop the NASDAQ from going lower. And of course, last but not least, we will take a look at crude oil. Really fantastic push to the downside. You can see really strong buying coming in just after 7:30 in the morning. And we started recovering from there. The trade that I placed was right here. I wanted to get short as we were coming into the session VWAP, looking for a push here into the rolling VWAP. Didn't quite get to 75 bucks, or 74.95 is what I was looking at. But I just continually took more profit, tightened my stop, and ultimately got stopped out. I will include a video of that trade transpiring inside the blog post if you would like to see exactly where I entered, how I managed it, and how I exited it. But guys, other than that, it always comes down to the same thing. Consistency, discipline, right? Following your rules, obeying your trade plan, having an easy to identify checklist so when the market presents you with opportunity, you're ready, willing, and prepared to act upon it. With that, guys, I hope you have a beautiful and blessed weekend. I look forward to seeing you next week. If I can help you between now and then, always feel free to send me an email.